Good morning, everybody. Lots more people coming on. As I always say, just do keep your videos off and keep the mute on. So let's set the scene. It's 1919. It's post-World War I, the dystopian society, lawlessness, slums everywhere, gangs in the cities. But we're focusing on the Black Country and Birmingham, and a particular family, the Shelby family. And what makes this an amazing Peaky Blinders, the drama, is the I'm just stopping videoing, sorry. What makes it pretty is the iconic look, and we are very lucky and privileged to have the makeup designer, and I think Chrissy will correct me, but I think one of the only makeup designers that goes by one name. Welcome everybody, Loz.
Yep, very, very famous in our industry, Loz, and also I have to say, hair and makeup designer.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Very important this one, because the Peaky haircuts are flipping famous across the world. So well done, Loz, for starting that little craze.
Thank you. Not many people probably actually say thank you. They're probably going, what have you done? What have you created?
Anyway, listen, it's lovely to have another one of our little sort of designer chats.
Yeah.
As we sort of, this is only our third one. So we're going to start off with me firing a few questions at you. Let's see. The first one was, Peaky, where was Peaky shot? Is there any prominent location that you go back to again and again? And how long ago did you originally start shooting it?
God. So Peaky's one started, oh gosh, about 8 years ago, I think now. Even probably 10.
Might have been, yeah.
And so our major place that we go to is Arley Hall, which is in Cheshire, which is obviously Tommy's house. But we don't get to that till mid, sort of like season 5, once they've got money. We go to Birmingham, and obviously we do a lot of studios, and then we do Liverpool as well, and then in and around outside Manchester.
Okay. And are is it Chatham Docks as well? Do you go there much?
We're there once. No, actually we're there twice. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I didn't realise that you was actually up in Birmingham as well with it. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? How you know, because it's a lot of people who don't work in our industry. The reason I always want to know about the locations and things is because so many people don't realise that we don't film chronologically. And what we're doing is the outside might be one street, like you say, in Birmingham, and the inside is we're going into the studio. I take it the pub might be a studio.
Yeah, there's a lot, and the office, inside of the office is a studio, yeah.
Yeah, so they're permanent builds throughout the whole of the seasons. And then we're on season 6. Well, you was just about to start season 6.
Yeah, we were 5 weeks into prep. We were literally like 5 days away from shooting season 6. So everything was in place. The boys, Killian and Paul, were days away from getting their Peaky cuts. So they missed out, like, you know, so they probably thank me for that.
Mind you, everybody's wanting haircuts at the moment, so they probably wish they did actually get them. At least it would give them a nice, decent haircut to grow into.
Oh, hopefully they're growing their hair so that way I can get it cut. I can cut them when we're ready to go back.
We'll have a lot to cut. I'll tell you, there'll be a lot of excess hair for weeks when we go back. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
What was your biggest crowd day?
Well, the thing is with Peaky is it's pretty condensed. It's, you know, well, I was thinking about last night, and it's usually about 150, 200, because Peaky's is not a massive budget. It's not a big budget show whatsoever. Even though it's one of the most popular shows, it's quite a small budget. So it's usually contained between 100, 150, 200. So, you know, it's quite a normal background, sort of, you know, for background stuff. So that's quite good.
Okay. And when we're talking about the show's popularity and the budget, what can you remember what your original makeup budget was on the first season, and has that improved with the show's success?
So the first season, you know, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into, do you? The first season, the budget wasn't very big. and to season 6, it hasn't gone up that much more. So, you know, so we rely on, you know, lots of makeup companies sending us, you know, makeup so we can use on the actors and all that, and hair products. But really what we achieve for the small budget that we do get is pretty amazing. And considering it's one of the biggest shows, the budget hasn't gone up really at all. So if you're listening.
You know, I find that it's amazing because it does look, you know, big budget. It looks great, I suppose, is the bottom line, and it's amazing. I suppose you cut what's the word? You cut the suit to cut the cloth, or cut the cloth to cut the whatever. Yeah. You do something anyway.
Well, the thing is, you know, every department on Peaky's team is so incredible, so talented. I mean, my hair and makeup team are A1. They're so good. You wouldn't know that we're all, you know, reusing a wig, or like, oh, quick, we need this, we need that. Let's go and find it. Let's have a look in the Blue Peter box and see if we can find a wig that fits. And we put that on, and, you know, and it all works. So it's just the talent of the amazing people that we work with on Peaky's.
Yeah, we all have to pull it out of the bag.
Yeah, we do, completely.
And I mean, is your, sorry, Chrissy, is...
Oh, really? Doing all my questions.
No, but because we talk about teams a lot, and you know, Chrissy's had like a kind of main team for quite some time now. Is that the same with you, Loz? On Peaky, you've got in essence your kind of main team, and they've been there from series 1.
Yeah. I can't thank my team more than they are incredible. You know, we've got Una, Julie, Laura, Jenny. We've got our team are fantastic, and they're all, you know, what makes a good team is we're all really good at different things.
Yeah.
Which all comes together, and we then, what we're not good at, we all we all help each other. And I'm sure they annoy, you know, I annoy them, and they, you know, whatever, but they're amazing. They're so supportive, and they're so loyal, because Peaky's, the script is so fantastic that we all want to come back and create something really good. And I couldn't do it without my team. I call them the Peaky bitches.
Oh, but it's a brilliant testament to you as a designer as well. I always sort of think it's that kind of thing that when you kind of, I love it when I hear about designers keeping their teams for a long time, because to me it kind of just means that you're not a designer who's about ego. You know, you're a designer that actually understands that the talent of your team is what makes the job work. And what we all do as designers, and we say this every single time, I'm forever saying it, you know, my biggest talent is spotting other people's talent. Yeah. You know, and understanding, you know, it's like when people say to me, oh, you know, we want you to do it because you're the designer, therefore you must be best. And I'm just like, seriously, you want a good beauty makeup? Leave it, go to Lisa. I mean, I'm just like, or Chloe, go to one of my girls, go to Scarlett, go to one of my girls. And, you know, and it's all about everybody knowing what their capabilities are. You know, my strong point's always been the hair. So, you know, when it comes to makeup, I'm always a little bit, go.
But we talk about that a lot, you know, like, and you know, with students and things, and it's all about, you know, from day one at the academy, teamwork, and each time we talk to, you know, people like yourself, Loz, and designers, it's about that, isn't it? It's teamwork, you know, you can't overemphasize it, you know.
It's very important.
I mean, the thing is, I'm as good as my team. No one is better than each other. I'm just as good as my team. Yeah. So, you know, we work brilliantly together. And also when I have other projects, if they can come along, they come with me as well. So it's brilliant.
This is great. Right, now the question that I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to ask, and I'm going to ask it for them. What gave you the idea for the famous Peaky cut, and were all the cast okay with having it initially? I know they all like it now.
Okay, so the Peaky cut, what I wanted with the Peaky cut was when everyone wears the Peaky hat, I wanted to see skin. Mm-hmm. And then when they take their hats off, I wanted an individual haircut for each person. So really, when they've got their hats on, you don't see anything but just skin. That's what I wanted. Yeah, season 1 was a bit tough going through the process of trying to tell them what a Peaky cut was. Actually, Joe Cole was the first one who sat in my chair, and you know, he just like, okay, just do it. So we just coloured and everything, and he went out, and everyone sort of went, oh, that looks cool. Hey, I like that. and then Paul, and then Kills was a little bit of a stage. You know, we did the sort of 1920s haircut to start with, and I told him how normal it looks and that we need to push it. And that when you do have a hat, and if it's not clippered, it does look a little bit odd. So yeah, with Kills, it's a stage, and it worked. It was good.
The thing is, it could never have worked if Killian didn't have it, you know, because he's obviously he is, you know, the man.
Well, I got to say, it was for about 3 seasons. He said, "I'm not having a Peaky cut." I'm like, "All right, I'm not having a Peaky cut." And then he comes and sits in my chair and he went, "Okay, I got to have a Peaky cut. I don't know." I said, "Yep."
Yeah. And the wonderful thing about this, and it's another thing that kind of that our audience need to know, is that as designers, we all know each other.
Yeah.
And there's been many times over the years and over your seasons. I mean, you know, you've been obviously sort of, you know, Peaky's is your show. We all know it's your show, and you kicked it off, and you're still there now. But over the years, there has been times when we've shared actors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and because I remember actually being on the phone. I think when I was doing Legend or something, we had Paul, and we were.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know, and I was just like, okay, how do we kind of sort of like make this work? And it's kind of interesting. Now between us, we kind of made it work for your show and for my show, because so often now you don't get exclusivity to actors. We're sharing them with other productions, so it's really important that as designers we all kind of talk to one another and respect what each of us is trying to put into a design.
Yeah, completely. I mean, even this year on season 6. You know, I was speaking to a designer in Canada about Paul, you know, what sort of a haircut am I going to do, and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, and they were wigging him, which was fine. But, you know, you'd still have to go through and talk about what you're going to do. Because if obviously I'm going to skin, they need to know how they're going to attach their wig and all that sort of stuff. So it's great. And it's a good way to meet everybody.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Right, okay.
Can I just jump into? Oh, sorry, Chris.
Yes, no, go on.
And again, one of those sort of many questions that people are always asking about kind of a period piece and kind of, you know, going off from the period, or maybe that design element. Is that is that you, Loz, going in with your this is what I'm thinking, and you go to the director, or who do you go to and say, this is what I think we should do, or this is what I see? Could you talk about that just a little bit?
So Otto Bathurst was season 1 director, and he interviewed me and he said, "Look, I want somebody who do odd haircuts. I don't want anything." I said, "Look, I'm the person that goes off piste. I don't do anything normal." And I told him what I wanted. He's like, "Yeah, great, let's do it." So it's not to the period, but it's my twist of the period. You know, it's got the solid line, it's got, you know, all the, but, you know, I'd like to keep all the other girls in the show to be period. And it all works, you know, it's quite stylized, which is great.
Have you the same costume designer all the way through?
No. Last year we had Alison, and this season we had Alison at McTosh as well. But every season we've had a different one, except for 5 and 6, yeah.
Right, filming multi-episodic, how many episodes would you be filming at any one time? And I'm asking this because we've just been on the Nevers. You know, I've only just I've gone into episodic work really with the Nevers, with everything I'm doing. And do you call it double banking as well? I mean, double banking, is a word in my world. But I've kind of had to learn about it. I mean, you know, God love my team. They kind of keep sort of saying, no, because we've got 2 units running. They're in different places. And I'm just like, okay, so where do you want me to be? So I literally rely on them. And because I'm so neurotic about things going to the wrong place, we literally have Sarah, our trainee, puts a little mark on it. She puts a little notice on the front of the makeup trailer to say whether it's meant to be at the studio or it's meant to be at Nebworth House or whatever. But basically, we've just we basically have been having 2 directors and 2 units running. But do you do that a lot on Peaky? Do you have multiple units running?
No, on Peaky it's pretty good. It's really good because Killian's in every scene, pretty much every scene. We just do episode 1 to 3, and then we do 4 to 6. Sometimes we'll jump, you know, we add some stuff from 5 to 6. We do odd days of double banking, but not a lot, not really. I just did a job, Discovery of Witches season 2, and it was pretty much, most of it was double banking. And Una was exactly the same as your assistant. She just put letters, she put things all over the board going, Loz, you're to there, you're in that bus, you're in that bus, we're going to do this, you do that, you do that. I'm like, I can deal with one, not many, you know.
I'm just so like that. Honestly, my lot just laugh at me because Lisa literally, they go like this. They go, Chris, you go in there. Just tell me where I have to be in the morning. And
yeah.
In the morning saying you have to go to Luton Who. And I'm just like, yes, I've got it. I'm there.
I'm exactly the same all the time. It's like, Una's like, Lozzie, you're going to go in that bus. Perfect, great. Or basically she doesn't let me move, really. She just moves around me. Loz, you just stay there. It's easy if you just stay in your spot and everyone else moves.
Oh God, look, that's pretty much been Sarah and Amy's jobs on this one, is telling us where we're all meant to go. Amy kind of navigates Charmaine and Sarah navigates all of us lot.
Yeah. We're like herding the sheep. Come on, in and out.
So there you go. Trainees, don't ever think you're being underestimated on a job. You actually need to get us to where we're meant to be in the morning.
God, I know, it's terrible.
And I think that's another thing about being a designer, is it's sort of like allocating, you know, not being scared to allocate jobs to people. You know, you can't do it all. You just can't do it all.
No, I got to say, season 1, it was really, it's, you know, when you first start to design or any jobs, you sort of try and control everything. But then I just worked out, Loz, what are you doing? Make use of your amazing team. So delegation, and, you know, and it empowers everybody. The moment you start delegating, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you, Loz, when on this note, with regards to trainees, do you, you know, let trainees do things, you know, or is there a particular level of, no, you can't do that, or do the trainees just jump in and do everything as well?
No, I mean, at the start, you know, I tell them basically, look, guys, you're running the bus. You know, you run the bus. And once I've mastered running the bus and doing all that sort of stuff, I then, you know, on crowd days, I get them to do some makeup or some hairstyling, you know, because that's the only way they're going to get experience, you know, rather, you know, not the paperwork. It's, they need to get their hands on. I mean, they don't do the haircuts and stuff, but if there's, you know, males, odd people that, you know, come in, I just say, girls, you know, can you pass it down to, you know, whoever needs, to Jenny or to whoever needs to be done.
I mean, it is incredible how much you'll learn just from sort of like standing and passing up rollers to you. I mean, it's like, by watching how fast we have to put in Carmen's in the morning.
Yeah,
you know, you learn so much just by
you do. Well, that's why I always say to the girls, okay, your first job, as I said, is master the bus. That includes making sure everyone's places are all organised, making sure we're all in the same place, you know what we need to do, assist anybody that needs to be assisted. And once we've all mastered that, you know, it to a good degree, we can then progress to an actor, you know, to the background and stuff. So, and that's the way they learn, as you said.
I think it's an underestimated component in all this. You know, there's always talk about, oh, you know, hands on, but standing and observing and watching is so important. It really is, you know.
Also taking stuff off, taking wigs off is kind of, you know, taking wigs down.
It's the best. Oh yeah, that's how I learned, taking wigs off. Or when you're folding your towels to be put up in the cupboard, you know, you're folding and you're looking, you know, you're looking out at everybody, and no, I'm not looking at you.
I remember the first time I took down a wig and realised there was padding and things on it. I think it was one that Christine Cantor sort of put together, so God knows what else was in there. But I just remember taking it down and all of this padding coming out, and I was like, oh God, that's how it gets so big.
Yeah, I think I did that.
What else? I was like, oh, okay, it's anything that's hidden is fine.
I think the first time I did that, I actually took a whole wig down before I took it off. And the makeup artist just sort of looked at me and went, oh my God, I need to reset that now.
Overzealous.
It's like, oh, okay, but I learned how you did it.
Exactly. And listen, I've got to talk finger waves with you, just because it's, you know, everybody, when we're doing the course, you know, we always get to the point of finger waves, and I will always hear one of our students go, oh, I just can't get it. We're never going to use it, you know. And you're just like, oh my God, if you knew how often you need, even if you've got one finger wave going down here, you're going into a period look, you know, and you can never underestimate having to know how to do finger waves?
Oh yeah, finger waves. When it took me ages to master. I'm a left-handed, and I find doing anything left-handed, I just find it, because most teachers are right-handed, so I go a little bit like, oh, what? So when I first learned, it took me a while, but once I caught on, it was great.
Yeah.
And once a finger wave is amazing. Once you get it, it's so good. You can do it with rollers, you can do it with hot sticks, you can do it just with your tongue. Just the tongs are the best, and it's the best thing. It's great. All my girls know it. Obviously, the girls on my team are just the best at finger waves.
Peter, are you okay? Are we having some technical things? Are you all right?
No. I think it's okay. We're getting. Yeah, no, we're all pretty much okay. It's perfect. All good. Okay. Loz, one of the first questions, a great place to start is, how did your career start? Can you tell us about it?
Okay, so I grew up in Australia, in Melbourne, and I did my 4-year apprenticeship in a hair salon, where you learn, and then you go to trade school as well for 3 years, and then I did my makeup course straight after, and then I just did I got my portfolio together. I just took some photos of my brother's girlfriend. And I went to around to the TV stations. I went to Channel 10, did a hair and makeup, and I was in the right place at the right time, really. And yeah, but also I used to watch the Channel 10 news, and on a Friday I used to have all the credits of all the shows. And I used to say to my mum, I want my name there. Oh, that'll be brilliant. My mum was like, louder. No, it's too hard. Louder, no. Anyway, I got an interview for Channel 10, and lo and behold, walks in the same people that I see on television. I was like, what? So anyway, cut to 2 months later, I'm doing their makeup, and on the Friday, my name came up on the credit. It was brilliant.
When you did the hair right at the beginning, the 4-year hair apprenticeship, did you have in mind that I want to be a hair and makeup artist, or I'm just going to become a hairdresser?
No, I didn't like school. And my mum said, Laura, the only time you can leave school is if you have an apprenticeship. So at the time, my brother's girlfriend was a hairdresser. So I did a work experience with her, and I really enjoyed it. And I applied. I thought, great, I love this. And also it gets me out of school. And I'm still learning, because it was 4-year apprenticeship. So that's how I started. It's a 4-year apprenticeship, and then work my way up slowly.
And I suppose the next question is, sort of, you've answered it. How easy or difficult was it to get in the industry at that time and in Australia?
Oh, look, it's so hard, really. I mean, it was hard then, but I didn't realize it was hard. I just sort of went, oh, I just got to go and do it. You know, if I want a job and I want this career, I need to go and knock on doors. And I did. And finally somebody opened the door. But you do get a lot of, no, I'm sorry, there's nobody here, you know, there's no job for you, blah, blah, blah. But it's persistent. And I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. But then I moved over to England. And England was really hard. When I came over to London, I had to start all over again, because I didn't know anybody. So again, I had to write to all the designers, introduce myself, and go out on crowd days. And, you know, it takes a good couple of years, definitely.
And when you came over, you were, let's say you were a makeup artist.
Yeah.
And did you drop down, or you didn't mind, you know?
No, well, my first day, not Chrissy Blundell, Chrissy, she's going to kill me. Anyway, yes, we were, we're in a crowd day, and she said, look, Loz, I don't know your work, so I'll get you just to start as in the junior level. I said, yeah, fine. And then after 2 days, she said, no, I realize you're not a junior, so you can, you know, step up as a senior, but you have to prove yourself all the time. Even now, as long as we've been in the industry, you still have to show yourself, you know, prove yourself that you can do your job, and as you're only as good as your last job.
And yeah, I suppose a cliche, you know, the reason it's a cliche is because it's true. It's as simple as that.
It's true, yeah. Sadly, people remember when you do a bad job.
What was your most challenging job so far?
I got to look. Peaky's is always challenging. Peaky's is always challenging. because you know you're fighting with the budget, you know, so you're trying to create the best because the world is watching you, and that is a job in itself. So yeah, that's probably not one of the toughest, but at the moment. And I just did season 2 of Discovery of Witches, and that was all Elizabethan, and that's pretty challenging because obviously, you know, it's all beards and facial and, you know, all sorts of stuff, and you underestimate how long it all takes and the work that goes into it.
Yeah, but I think generally every job is challenging. I mean, it's a very, I mean, because I'm kind of sort of thinking, oh my God, is he going to fire that question at me next? And I kind of think every single job and every project that we take on, you know, there is that point where you're just like, how am I going to put a stamp on this? And because nobody kind of wants to just sort of like, you know, I mean, obviously if I'm doing a Mike Leigh film, I have to be very sort of period conscious and things, but nobody kind of wants to do just a straightforward bog standard design. You kind of, even if you're doing something really simplistic, you kind of want to put a little bit of a twist on it. Yeah. And I kind of think that's where every single thing that we're going to do is challenging.
Yep, completely. And it's going to be more challenging now.
Yeah.
Behind a mask.
Exactly. Who knows where we're going to go? I mean, I had lots of challenges on Aladdin when we were sort of like putting that together, you know. Just
I bet you did.
Trying to kind of sort of do something that is so cherished and loved. There was this constant fear, just like, oh my God, how am I going to get that iconic hair look at the end on Jasmine? And, you know, how are we going to, you know, pull off Aladdin's hair when actually his hair is ultimately incredibly curly, you know. It's like, there's a challenge on everything.
I know. It doesn't matter if you've got a big budget or small budget, every job is a challenge.
It really is, yeah.
Definitely.
Another question just coming in. How did you come up with the idea of creating Psoriasis on the Tom Hardy character?
I can't really remember, to tell you the truth, but I think Tom had a big say in it. Let me tell you, Tom's brilliant. He's like, Loz, do whatever you want. I mean, I talked about it with him. I said, I want some sort of rash, some sort of psoriasis, some sort of, you know, this. And he loved it. And he's like, oh no, do more around here and do more. I was like, Tom, that's enough. He's like, no, more. So, you know, it worked. It was a collaboration, really. And that's how a lot of jobs is, isn't it? It's a collaboration with the actors and what they just like, what they like, what we like. We step in the middle.
And I mean, it's a really good, I mean, Tom brings so much to the table anyway. I mean, he's not going to just sit down in your chair and sort of say, crack on. I mean, he comes with a lot of ideas.
It's great. It's really good. And even when Julie and I did the scar on him last year, he was literally going, Loz, you know, how about we put a little bit of colour here and maybe put a bit of colour there and let's do it this way. And I was like, okay, all right, let's try it. You know, so it's good. It keeps us on our toes, so it's fine.
I'm looking forward to seeing his. Is it Capote or something that he's just done with?
I'm looking for. Prosthetics. It looks amazing, doesn't it?
It really does. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
There's a question from Gemma, and it's sort of along those lines with the Tom thing. Does change in physicality of the actor begin in the makeup chair? And I suppose that's the thing with Tom coming in. He's already got a preconceived idea of what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, actor doesn't come in on the day and we shoot. You know, the moment they get a job, like we get a job, they start thinking about their character. You know, and how they can perceive their character, should I say? And then, you know, I have a chat with whatever actors needed, and by this stage, we've both got a fair idea of what we want. You know, so by the time they do come in, we're all pretty cool, and then we have a test if you're lucky.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand. I mean, I'm going to say Tom again, you know, because obviously I did Legend with Tom, but you know, do you not remember him turning up as soon as he got the part? Pete, I remember him phoning me up and literally turning up around the back of the makeup school. We sort of letting him in and just sort of sitting down and him telling me, you know, what he sort of felt he could.
Yeah, completely. And I love that.
It's the thing with all of them, you know, every actor, I'll always say that my first chat with an actor, I like it to be, even if I've got notes in the studio or the director, I like it to be a one-on-one, just so that first chat is all about, you know, what are they insecure about? You know, are there things that they don't particularly like? Are there things that they're worried about? And it's kind of just a real I call it just my little personal chat with them initially.
Yeah.
And then you
that's
start
exactly.
talking about, you know, obviously you're going to find out if there's anything they're allergic to, any preferences, you know, and then you start playing about with different looks. I mean, the one thing I would say about about trying anything on your actors, 9 times out of 10, Pete, we've done it on one of our girls or guys that are with us. You know, we constantly are playing about and sort of, you know, we don't just kind of go, oh, let's put psoriasis on you without trying it on sort of like 5 people in the makeup room first.
No, exactly. Oh yeah, no, we try, you know, it's always tried and tested, and you know, every time it always works out differently. Sometimes it works out brilliantly, sometimes it doesn't, but you know, it as you said, Tom's brilliant. He did ring me up one time. He went, Loz, I decided that we should do a scar in my beard. I went, okay, cool. What did you do? What did you have in mind? He goes, well, I just cut it myself.
This is so brilliant.
The clippers to his beard.
That's brilliant. It's so brilliant. But this is
and it was perfect.
Yeah. I remember when we did the Gentleman. I've worked with Hugh Grant quite a few times, and like he's just brilliant because he will literally send over an email of him playing about with looks at home and just say, "Do you think this is just too weird?" And I'm just like, "Okay, pull back just a bit."
He obviously didn't have children then.
Well, you know, it wasn't that long ago, so you did.
Yeah. A question from Hannah: how do you work with actors who make a lot of comments? What they want with their makeup. So I suppose it's that, do you allow actors to, which we've been talking about, to make...
Oh, completely. I think the thing is, hair and makeup is, when you're creating a character, it's a collaboration. And that's what the best part of our job. I love collaborating with actors and finding out what they're thinking and what I'm thinking. And then I go away and I do a little mood board, and then I call them again and I show them pictures, and they're like, yeah, perfect, brilliant, I love that. So by the time they come in, we're on the same page, and it's the best part. I love it.
It really is. It's definitely about collaboration.
Yeah.
And I think also what's really important, and you'll totally get this, Loz, is that the amount of times that I've kind of sort of spoke to a director or producer or something, and they're just saying, oh, we've got so-and-so for this part, you know, what can you do? Oh no, sorry, the actor hasn't been cast, and they'll start saying, well, what can you do? And we'll put together a mood board of moods, but it's definitely not depicting what we can do, because until the actor's actually sitting in the chair with us, you don't know what you can do with their hair or what you can do, you know, what their skin will take, and you know, you kind of, it's a real get stuck in mentality, isn't it? You've got to really work out what can be achieved.
Yeah, you have to know exactly
as well. I mean, if you've got, it's like Killian, if he's in the chair every day and you're saying he's in every single scene, you know, you want his makeup to be really quick and fast, and you know, you want him in and out, you know, and that's, you know, do you do your haircuts at the end of the day for them so that they can kind of go home and shower? And
sometimes we do. Yeah, we started doing kills in the evening, so he goes home and has a shower. But sometimes he just runs out, comes in, gets his towel, runs out, and we do it in the morning. He's fine. But then we wash the hair afterwards. But if it's a full haircut, because obviously I do the clipper every 2 days, if it's a full haircut, we do it one night, so that way, you know, he can go home and cut it properly. But though with Kills cut, I always have a little nibble every couple of days, and I go, oh, that doesn't work, so I just have it. And you know, and after 2 weeks I go, oh no, let's cut this a little bit more. And that's why it's quite hard when people say, Loz, how do you do Kills cut? And I'm like, well, I cut to his own hair, you know, a curl might be wrong one day and I snip that and do this, and you know.
Oh, he's so lovely as well. I remember I did Sunshine with him many years back, a Danny Boyle film, and I put hair extensions in him for that. And I always remember the last few days when we were so desperate to get the hair extensions out, and like every day I would literally sort of sit next to him and just peel a couple of out, you know, so that every day I have just less. So by the end of it, it'll be just like, okay, go on, you're done, off.
Quite a few questions coming in about continuity and the challenges of continuity on Peaky at all.
Oh, on men, women. Well, the thing is, thankfully I've got a hat. That's all I can say.
Astrid is asking which season has been the most challenging for you, and was there a reason why that season was challenging?
Look, I've got to say, season 1 was challenging because you're creating a world. You know, we had all had such high expectations, and you know, we all had such great ideas, and just putting it together. And once it works, but also each season is a challenge, because now everyone's like, oh, what haircuts are they all going to have? You know, I'm running out of haircuts.
No, you won't.
Season 6, I was like, oh, okay, so what haircuts can I do? You know, so therefore I bring up Kills and I speak to Paul, and, you know, and then we talk about what we liked about old haircuts and how we can change them.
Claire is asking if there are multiple scenes and episodes, how is the makeup kept the same? But I suppose that's continuity, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? I keep everybody's makeup pretty basic. I give them 2 looks, a day look and an evening look. And I try for the evening look, it's, you know, it's just literally, you know, changing the lips or changing the eyes, or either that will be done on a separate day. But I do everybody's makeup very basic. Yeah. Everyone knows they only have limited looks, so because too many looks just don't work, and it gets people confused. And again, continuity, you're definitely going to make a mistake. I mean, you can be the best at continuity, but
yeah,
it's always going to go continuity, non-continuity. Nah, you know.
It is an interesting thing, just on that note, you know, about sort of keeping your looks simple. I mean, one of the key things you do as a designer is you learn when to show off. You know, I mean, I always sort of say, you know, like, Charmaine, show off in the crowd room. This is a day to really show off over there. You know, you can pick a couple that are really good. Or, you know, if you've got an actor just coming in for a couple of days, like Tom just coming into yours for a couple of days. So often people that aren't in the chair every single day, because you don't have the time.
Yeah, it's so true.
To keep doing big makeups on them.
No, it's so true. I completely agree with that. Show off on the actors that aren't in it very often, you know.
And the crowd room is one of the best places to show off. So, do you know what I mean? I'm saying that. I mean, I remember so often I walk into the crowd room and I'm just like, how on earth have you done that hairstyle?
Yeah. Crowd rooms are the best. It's an amazing place to work and to learn. It's so good.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, we talked about kind of going off-piste and stylizing the period look with regards to hair. Was there any movement in makeup, or is it more challenging to be more kind of creative in the makeup part?
No, I mean, the makeup, I pretty much stayed to the period, you know. Obviously the boys are very simple, but the girls, I stayed to the period. You know, like but Aunt Polly, because she is a gypsy, so I sort of went with that gypsy look, you know, the nice smoky eye, the real sort of so we always play with Helen's makeup quite a lot. But everyone else, it's always the 1920s makeups. Obviously this year was going to be 1930s, 1933.
Jennifer's asking, what reference resources do you use to create the fantastic various looks throughout the series?
Well, it's called the internet. But season 1, my favorite book, obviously our Bible, is Crooks Like Us, and it's basically real crooks in life in the 1900s. And it's amazing.
Have you seen that book, Least Wanted?
No.
Oh my God! Honestly, write it down. It is brilliant. It is just literally photo mugshots. It's absolutely brilliant.
Oh yeah, that's like Crooks Like Us is all pretty much mugshots of the crooks, yeah. And it's amazing. And a lot of them had, if you look clearly and carefully in that book, you'll see a lot of my hairstyles have been created, but I've changed. I've put my own twist to it. Because their haircuts in there are a bit normal, but I've changed them and given them, you know, the Lozzy touch.
The Lozzy touch.
The Lozzy touch.
I'm writing it down. Crooks Like Us. I love a flipping reference book. I really.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. It's such a good book. It's fantastic.
Okay, and you get Least Wanted. That's a good one.
Least Wanted, perfect.
Least Wanted, yeah, it's the same sort of thing. It's all mugshots. People are the most vulnerable.
Oh yeah, great.
Julie and Katja are asking very similar questions about makeup on the men that we've mentioned. Is it just foundation, or, you know, when you say it's simple, is it just foundation? Is it?
Yeah, it's just simple. With the boys, I just use the number 7 makeup. Very, very simple, and we buff that in. because you know, we don't want the boys to look like they've got makeup, but obviously we still want them to be covered and to still look good. But it's all about the buffing, and it's just a plain simple number 7 makeup I use on the boys. And obviously on the girls, it's individual. You know, I use L'Oreal or Armani, or, you know, different ones that they prefer.
And you're again, you're happy to use from a higher range to a simple.
Yeah, completely. Listen, you'll probably find a lot the cheaper ones are really good as well. You know, I'm not posh. You know, if it works for me, I use it.
But you know, also it's like, I mean, makeup has changed so much from when I first started in the industry. I mean, you can get a really good line of makeup in Boots now.
Yeah, completely.
You can. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to go and get loads of Chanel things. I mean,
no.
You get some really good, you know, over the counter stuff that is cheap.
You know, the thing is, a lot of people invest. They love to see on their station the lovely bottles, and you know, some people go, "Oh, I like that. What's that?" And you go, you know, it's a Chanel. Oh, I like that. But then if they look at a cheaper brand that the packaging's not good, they go, "Oh, hang on, what's that?" I'm like, "This is even better than that one. Let's just, you know." Yeah. It's amazing how people think about things and how they perceive things. No, but cheap is good for me.
Quite a few people, sorry, Loz, Christy, a few people mentioned asking about a book. It cut out when you said the mugshot book, Chrissy. Was it?
The one that I really like is called Least Wanted.
Least Wanted.
Wanted. I would actually show it up, but I've actually got all my copies of it. I've got one at work and one at the makeup school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I bought one for an actor once, who will remain nameless, but I did buy one for an actor once, and I said to him, "Can you please write a story about this so that we can actually write it, because we can actually recreate these people."
Great, brilliant. Oh yeah, get crooks like us. It's amazing. The characters and Least Wanted characters should all meet, and imagine the project we can do.
Oh my God, that would be a great gang. Could you imagine?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Slightly off piece, Loz, what is your favourite movies to watch? What is your favourite genre that you like watching? That's from Sarah.
I love everything. I love art house. I love Almodovar films. He's my favourite director. So as soon as I love foreign films. I'm not into. I mean, I don't mind watching blood and gore and stuff, but that's one of my favourites. And I love the oldie worldy films.
I try and get my kids to watch black and white films, and I don't know why.
I love it. I used to love the Mickey Rooney films, the Shirley Temple films. Yeah. So
here's the thing. I was having an interesting chat with my goddaughter, who's sort of going into acting the other day, and I was saying, you know, you've got to really, you know, one of the most, if I can give you any advice, it's to watch every kind of genre of film that you can, you know, because it's like you just don't know what you're going to be doing next. I mean, I had to watch sort of, you know, I've watched back-to-back Star Wars and, you know, sort of like so many different films that I wouldn't usually watch, just because you kind of, it's like, you know, it's like everybody at the moment, when we come out of lockdown, everybody is going to be talking about what did they watch. And, you know, and a really good exercise as well for any of you guys out there is, you know, read a book. And then if it's been made into a film, watch the film version of it and just look at how it translates from book to screen. And a great one at the moment is Normal People.
Fantastic.
The book is incredible. And it's, you know, my son and his mates told me to read the book. And then it came out on TV and we sort of like watched it on TV. I mean, it's a little bit racy, but to watch with your kids anyway. But it's actually amazing to sort of watch that transition. And that's what I was sort of saying to my goddaughter the other day. I was like, you know, you can't kind of just sort of say, I like fantasy, or so I can only think about that.
No.
You know, you've got to be able to cover every single genre of what we do, whether it be science fiction or period.
You go, yeah, exactly. You just, and then, you know, usually Mike will put on a film and after 10 minutes I go, oh no.
Yeah,
you know, so I try everything. Yeah. I try everything.
What things if they're kind of sort of standing out for the makeup look?
Yeah,
I mean, that's I'm quite excited about that Capote thing because that looks very good.
Yeah, completely.
But I think a lot of things that you kind of look at if they're meant to be a little bit stylized, I think everyone's talking about Hollywood at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I need to watch that.
Yeah, no, me too. I haven't seen that.
Have you, I mean, can you both, obviously as designers, can you kind of switch off and watch a film purely as a film? Without looking at the moustache, the wig, that kind of thing?
Sometimes I can, yeah, definitely.
Unless the wigs and facial are really bad.
Yeah, exactly. If the wigs are, as Chrissy said, if the facial's really bad, if they've got a prosthetic and you can see the crack, you're like, oh. Or you can see that you can see a hairpin that shouldn't be there, that that was put in there by accident, whatever. That really annoys me, and I'm always watching that all the time. But not a lot.
Right.
My worst thing is the freshly toned hair all the time, and it's just like, why is it still looking like that?
Yeah. Hang on, we don't wake up like that. Exactly.
It's interesting. There's Hannah and Natasha. There's quite a few people asking about Loz. What skills, techniques do you look for in a trainee?
Oh, okay. I first of all look for personality. And also for the love of the job, because this industry is really, really hard. And if because some people just go, I just want to be in the industry, but they don't actually know what it's about, or they don't have love for hair, or they don't have that love for makeup. So I always go for personality, and I always just chat to them randomly about hair and makeup and shows and films and stuff. And then I get to know who they are. And then you have a very quick thought of like yes or no, and then obviously skill and what they've been doing, and what jobs they've been on, or what school they went to, or whatever. But it is definitely personality I go for to start with.
Yeah. Well, back to the team. They're going to be with you, at 5 o'clock in the morning.
You need to have somebody that is going to get on with myself, but also my team, and somebody I know who's going to get on with the actors, who isn't going to just stare at them and go, Google them. So I think personality for me is a big thing. And then obviously I ask about skills, and, and that just comes with experience as well,
Did one question coming from Sophie, what was the best piece of advice that you ever received, Loz? Anything?
Well, I've always been told never. Well, I remember when I came over from Australia, someone said to me, "Don't forget to have children." Hilarious. And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" She said to me, "Look, once you get in the film industry and you get onto those big films, it will just keep rolling from year to year to year. And before you know it, you go, oh, where did the last 10 years go?" And I got to say, now that when I was trying for children, I thought, man, why didn't I do that before? But you get hung up with your job, and you want to get the best job and the next job. And then obviously I've always been taught to watch, always look, always look. Just look at everybody, look at what people are doing. Even if, you're standing at the end of the bus, just keep looking.
But that's another thing. People kind of, you say that and people go, yes, but it's kind of almost learning to look, learning to observe, but in detail, rather than going, like with kids, actually kids grown-ups, it's all the same, like, yeah, no, but you didn't see that. You didn't see those little things. I mean, what Chrissy mentioned a bit earlier about, that perfect hair, or you mentioned, Loz, perfect hair at 7 o'clock in the morning. It shouldn't be like that. It's just the minor detail, I think. Always.
And also you got to keep it real. That's the thing. You got to keep it real. You want someone who's running out in the field to have windy hair. You want fuzz. Curly hair is fuzzy. You don't want perfect helmet head. You need to keep it real. And I think that's what I keep saying to lots of people, is always keep it real. I mean, I'm sure my team have got other things that I say to them. Some other advice, but I always say, listen, keep it real.
Brittany's asking, what do you wish you knew when you first started out?
Oh gosh.
Mhm.
What would that there's many personalities, and to I don't know, it's without offending people. I don't, there's just so yeah, there's so many things. I mean, I don't know what you think, Chris, but
I think that's a really tough question.
yeah, it's a really tough one. Yeah.
There's kind of, I mean, you never stop learning on
No.
this. You can never sort of say, oh yeah, I've done everything, I don't need to learn anymore. I mean, I learned from, you never really know what would have benefited at the beginning.
No, you don't know, because you jump into the job not knowing.
It just goes to show.
I kind of wish I could have bit my lip a little bit more when I was sort of like younger. I mean, I bite my lip a lot now.
God, I wish I learned to do that now. God.
A question I suppose we should have asked right at the beginning, Loz, was how did you get involved in Peaky in the first place?
Wow. Well, the costume designer from season 1, I saw her at a party, a end of film party, and she just sort of said to me, "Loz, what are you doing next?" I'm like, "No, not much." So, well, listen, Peaky it's this job up in Manchester. Go for the interview. You're perfect for it. You're perfect. I was like, yeah, all right. And I literally I sort of went, okay. I just dived in and said what I thought and showed what I thought. And yeah, and that's how I got it, basically. Like you always sort of get other jobs, isn't it? You sort of just do your best and you are who you are.
And what was it like? This is from Sarah. What was it like working on a set? We've gone off piece now. Working on a set with Casino Royale, Pirates of the Caribbean, and such A-listers like Johnny Depp and Daniel Craig.
Well, you can talk to the designer, Chrissy Blundell, right now, because it was
yeah. Trying to think that Sarah. Who's Sarah? But no, I suppose it's working with all. What was your first kind of big job that you had, Loz? Like or that daunting, let's say. Was it the designing job, or was it like a big job that you did?
No, you know what? It was probably when Chrissy rang me up one year and said, "Loz, do you fancy doing Bond?" I went, "What? What are you talking about?" No.
I think this is I think we have to elaborate on this one a little bit, because I was kind of going through. I kind of just needed a power that I could just sort of could come over and help. Really, I was going through a lot family things at the time that I had to that obviously we don't need to express on, but I kind of needed somebody that I knew that the cast would be in safe hands with, really. And I think so I remember calling Loz over to Prague, and we had that that lovely sort of chat, says I could go home and get on and be comfortable with everything.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was quite daunting, because I mean, you don't get much bigger a film than the Bond films.
No, and I sort of remember
Daniel's first one as well as Casino Royale, which was obviously Daniel's first Bond film.
Yes.
So it was a bit of
a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Was it a quick 5-minute chat, Loz, and then see you later?
Yeah, it was like,
it kind of was. I had sort of had my bags. I kind of met Loz in the bar in the evening, and I was just like, I'm literally on the red eye going home. So, this is what needs to happen. And obviously we kept in touch when I was sort of back home, but I needed to be able to go home and kind of get on with personal things. Yeah. It's weird, this industry, because you don't have sick leave. You can't do a film and just go, oh God, and you've got to be. This is why your team's so important. You've got to be able to rely on everybody to kind of sort of go and sort of be the foundation under you, so that you can kind of you've designed it. You can walk off and kind of get on with other things if you need to.
And
hopefully
also,
that doesn't happen to anyone else, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit like, oh, okay, I'm
here. Not only was it a Bond film, but they was kind of rebooting the fucking franchise.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It was the first one. That's right.
Yeah.
But we had it was a lot of fun. It was great locations. It's brilliant.
Would it be, Loz, then, I suppose the advice part that people sort of ask and stuff is that, this is an opportunity that's just come up, and it's not even in England. It's, it's going abroad, it's Bond, it's all these things that they've just said. Was there a moment, or have you ever said, oh, no, I can't, no, I'm not, I'm too not scared, or whatever the term?
No, I was one of these ones that I just jump in, I just do it. I've always, you know, my mum's always like, Loz, load up, you can do everything. Just don't say you can't. I'm like, okay. And, you know, I used to just get phone calls and go, yeah, brilliant. But then I also saw it. I'm an Australian. I was backpacking over here. This is how I came over here. So I used to go, brilliant. I've never been to the Caribbean before. I'm going. And I'm going to work at the same time. It's perfect. So I saw it as a bit of a travel experience, but also working. So I just thought it was amazing. I'm like, yeah, too right. I'm going. My bags are packed. Now, obviously, I've got to think about things a little bit more. But I say to everybody, if you get the opportunity, do it. Yeah. Do it. It's great.
No, I think that's important.
It is very exciting filming in other countries. You know, I mean, I was like, I mean, even when my kids were little, I was sort of doing jobs in Thailand and all over the world. You know, but I think what's sort of important is that, you know, everybody sort of thinks, oh my God, it's really glamorous. You get to film here and there. And, you know, I remember all of us sort of like, you know, sort of like walking down the beach to go to work and things. But the bottom line is it's the same shit, different country a lot of the time. You know, what comes up when you're filming in other countries is you have to know how to pull things out of your flipping kit bag.
That's right, exactly.
You can't take everything with you, and you can't run to screen face and get something.
No, that's right. You can't go. Yeah, and that's the scary bit. You have to just bring absolutely everything, and amazing Blue Peter box where you can make loads of characters up.
And then you'll find everything melts. You know, I mean, makeup and
exactly.
Don't go together, or it freezes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're running out of time, sadly now, but and there's hundreds of questions that haven't been answered. So to everybody, I haven't asked Loz, but I'll be emailing Loz all the questions that we can answer, and I'll send them out to you.
Yeah, perfect. I'll absolutely go
honestly,
for it.
This felt like 3 minutes. I can't believe it.
I know. I can keep chatting. Yeah. Well, I know. I can keep chatting. Let's get going.
But listen, I thank you so much. Thanks, Loz, for finally making Birmingham look cool, says Claire.
Oh, that's so cool. What a great one to finish on.
Love that. That's brilliant.
That's a perfect timing. Thank you very much, Claire. Listen, thank you, everybody. I hope it was interesting. It was my favourite so far. It was brilliant. Loved it. Loz, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Final note. I mean, because it's so horrible, you know, because we don't really get to see each other. But Loz, once we get back open, come in. We'll do a little afternoon tea and have a little chat, like, you know. So you know, maybe you can. Any other questions? Because I know obviously you're not going to be bombarded, but we can also answer a few questions then. Pete, once we get all opened up and we can get out again, let's sort of do it over.
Perfect. Sounds amazing.
What we can do is we can run, you know, when that time comes, we don't know, and we have afternoon tea with Loz. We'll maybe do a little competition with all you lot that's joined us in this group, and say, you know, a couple will be invited to come and have afternoon tea with Loz and us.
That'd be nice.
Great.
Afternoon tea in Camden.
Yeah, perfect.
What better?
Exactly. Posh houses. Camden's perfect for us.
Camden, perfect. And I just want to say, so listen, everybody, next Thursday, we have another amazing makeup designer, Naomi Don, and she'll be talking about lots and lots of all of her fantastic films that she's done. So thank you, everybody. Loz, thank you for having.
Thank you. And can I just say thank you to all the Peaky fans out there? Brilliant. Keep watching, because season 6 is going to be amazing.
Excellent.
Brilliant. You've heard it here first.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
everybody. Bye. Bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye, love.